Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of my How to Get to Gold series. Before we begin, I'd like to take a few minutes to explain the reason why I'm making this series. Patch 1.05 was a heartbreak, to say the least. You had balance issues, the guns weren't doing damage, the powers weren't doing damage, and there were the sync kills, disconnects, things of this nature. Patch 1.06 has made things immeasurably better. People are starting to return to the game. Now, BioWare still has a lot of work ahead of them if they want to make something that's going to last a while, but we're on the right track. I've already expressed my concerns about people not playing at higher difficulties under patch 1.05, and this is justifiable. Since the release of patch 1.06, the game has become considerably more playable. But people are still asking a lot of different questions that boil down to essentially one: how do I get to gold? That is why I'm making this series. I want to help other players reach a potential to play at higher difficulties and enjoy the game more. So we're going to start off with a simple build guide. Each episode, I'm going to give you a class, and I'm going to give you a build for that class. I'm going to tell you what skills to take, when to take them, and why you are taking those skills. I'm also going to give you some advice on how to play that particular build. How to engage, how to disengage, where you're strong, where you're weak, how you can best assist everyone else on the team to get maximum potential out of that build. I will then set you free to play the game and explore the build. I'm also going to leave you with a list of skills that you should be working on specifically and skills that you should be learning passively but paying attention to. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first build, the Melee Vanguard. Now this particular build has been in the meta for a very long time, and I chose it specifically for the reasons why it's meta. It's very effective, and it's stupid easy to play. Now the build itself is pretty straightforward. It's a 66166. Now you're going to start off with barrier, and you're going to build this tree first. The why is because your survivability is the most important. You can't hit anything if you're laying on the ground. After you've leveled up a few times, and you've got the skill points, you're going to take Unyielding Barrier. Recuperative Barrier is almost useless to you, considering that at rank 5 you'll take Barrier Drain, and rank 6 you're going to be taking Saving Barrier. Barrier Drain is such an excellent skill for this build. It gives you shields back every time you melee, and increases your damage. This skill is such a boon that the whole build is almost entirely centered on it. After that, you're going to want to take Saving Barrier. This skill will turn any class into one of the tankiest in the game. Saving Barrier is going to save your life when you need it the most. When you're about to die, you will get a 100% restore to your shields. It'll give you the extra 2 seconds you need to either get into cover or to save your buddy's life. Next is Charge, and this is where you're going to start noticing an increase to your damage output. The bulk of your offensive capabilities is not in your powers, so at rank 4 take Radius over damage. Radius will allow you to get a combo off on any small group of primed enemies. Rank 5 is Weapons and Melee for the melee damage increase for a short duration after every charge. And finally, Shock Trooper at rank 6. Bastion is nice, but you want to be able to get your charge off as much as possible to increase the damage output from your melee boost of your charge. With Nova, I took damage at rank 4. You have less of a guarantee for primed enemies when you use it, and you want to deal more damage to your primary target. Rank 5 take Anti-Armor, because your primary targets are mostly going to be armored units. And at rank 6 take Seismic Nova to prime targets. I will go into this a little later. Remember that this is a melee build, not a powers build, so you will want to be close, and Shockwave is best at a short distance, just not short enough. I chose Apex Training over Shockwave to increase the damage of the powers that I do use. This is represented with the power damage increases from ranks 4 and 6 with Power Augmentation and Power Specialist respectively. Rank 5 is mostly a bridge you have to cross, but you will get more benefit from ammo and targeting than you will from aerial combat. Weapons are not really your thing, but they do come in handy sometimes. Any gun will do, so long as you keep your recharge speed below 100%. But if you have the Scorpion, use it. Rapid fire weapons are great for priming enemies if you decide to go that route instead. Whatever you choose, just make sure you equip a melee mod. Your armor equipment will be Juggernaut Shield, a 10% boost to your shields, which is and a 75% boost to your melee, which is great. If you don't have Juggernaut Shield, then Adaptive War Amp will do for now, and if you don't have that, then take one of the upgrades to your weapon damage. Nothing else really gives you any real benefit. When it comes to boosters, Strength Enhancer will be your go-to. Your second booster can be anything else you choose from. Ammo type, shield boost, biotic power or efficiency boost, even an XP boost. It really doesn't matter. It's all up to you. Playing the Vanguard is simple. Engage with a charge and follow that by spamming melee. Honestly, if you're not spamming melee, then you should be spamming charge. If you're alone, I recommend quickly taking out all of the lesser targets first. But if you are going in with a buddy, focus on the biggest enemy and let them deal with the trash. Your job is to primarily tie up the more dangerous targets like Hydras, Krogans, Anointed, and Nullifiers. You can charge into just about anything without any fear. Stay away from Ascendants and Fiends, however. I can't stress this enough. They will sync kill you. It's better to shoot them from a distance. You can charge an Ascendant when their shields are down if you have to, take a few shots and back away, but honestly, you are better used to your team if you sit back and protect the ranged members, especially the snipers. Destroyers are fairly easy to take down too, but you want to take out their turrets first. This is why the Scorpion is one of my favorite weapons. Even with a destroyer bearing down on you with both turrets, you can sit behind cover and blind fire a Scorpion with 100% accuracy, and it does a decent amount of damage against shields and armor. I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here for all of the non-Vanguard people. If your Vanguard is engaged in melee with an enemy, that enemy is of no threat to you. And if they're any good, no threat to the Vanguard either. They can dodge the melee attacks, but your Vanguard is exposed to everything else on the map, and they will most assuredly be focusing on them now. Let the Vanguard deal with the Hydra or the Destroyer, and focus your attention on everything shooting them in the back. And if you happen to be a fucking glory hog and want to be the top scorer in every match, bosses only give around 400 points, while everything else will give around 100. If you can't kill at least 4 lesser enemies before the Vanguard takes out whatever they are focused on, then maybe you shouldn't be playing that class with the intent to be on top. Take out the eyes of the Hydra and the turrets of the Destroyer and leave them to the Vanguard. I'm sorry, but this shit really irks me. I'm tired of hearing people complain about how everyone on their team keeps dying, and most of it can be attributed to players not supporting each other. Learn your role. The team is not centered around you. Disengaging from melee combat is almost as easy as initiating. First, use a Nova. This will keep you from getting stun locked by most attacks and stuns most enemies in return. If you have Seismic Nova, then it will also prime them for a combo. After the Nova, dash away and throw out a Shockwave. This should again stun most enemies. Don't be afraid to target and charge to an enemy across the map. This will quickly get you out of a rough situation. For team synergy, the Vanguard fits well into most teams, but it does quite well following around anyone with a multitude of primers. The Human Adept Singularity should put a smile on your face. If it's full of enemies, then the rank 4 radius on your charge will come in handy. Charge in to get the combo damage, and then just smash away like the Incredible Hulk. Other than that, you should be between your team and the enemy, like a mobile wall of fists and hate. Keep everything off of them so they can do their jobs. When playing this class, you should be learning when to engage, what's safe, and what's going to end in your death. You will also need to learn when you are in trouble. If your health is getting low, you will need to get out and find some place to hold out for a few seconds before you jump back into the fight. You will need to learn where your team is and what they are doing. Where do they need you the most? Remember, you should be defending them, so if you see a weak point in your defenses where something can sneak in and hurt them, that is where you need to be. Don't get too far away from them, and don't let them get too far away from you. You don't want to run through hell to get them back up, and the same is true in reverse. Please leave me a comment and let me know what you think of this guide. Did you find it helpful? Did I miss something? How can I improve? As always, if you want a team to play with, you're welcome to join us at AOD. We don't care about your Apex rating, we don't care about your level, we don't care about your skill. As long as you are mature and a team player, you're welcome to play with us. Link in the description below.